Welcome back. We have with us Alan and Terri Gregory, and you all are here to talk about the Boone County Turtle Rescue and Rehabilitation, which we did not even, we were not aware that that was a thing. Mm-hmm. So how did this get started?
It's fairly new. We've been doing this about 3 years. Mm-hmm. We had to work as an apprentice for a couple of years. It's kind of one of the requirements. We're licensed by the Game and Fish Commission.
Oh, okay.
And we just like to help turtles and rescue turtles. I mean, we saw a real need. There is no place if a turtle is injured or hurt. There's not very many places to take them. We're one of only 2 in the state of Arkansas that does turtle rescue and rehabilitation. And
so what kind of injury would you
Well, usually I'd say our 3 biggest ones are hit by a car. They've been run over by a car. That's probably our number 1 injury that we receive all the time. Number 2 is probably what? Lawnmowers?
Lawnmowers.
I guess lawnmowers would be number 2. And then number 3 kind of starts being a toss-up. We get quite a few that are chewed up by dogs. Mm-hmm. A dog has got them and used them as a chew toy. Or we get some that have been burned. You know, the Park Service and Forest Service, they do a lot of prescribed burns.
Yes.
And then later people will find a turtle that has been burned in the fire. So we get quite a few of that.
So then you take them to the vet, make sure they get services, or
right. We take care of the turtles. We're basically a turtle nurse.
Oh, okay.
We have to work under the supervision of a vet, and we have a great vet. It's Dr. Reggie, I think, is one of your sponsors at Affordable Vet Services.
Okay.
So we're always working under her, and she donates a lot of stuff to us and helps us a lot. But basically, if you had to take one and pay full vet services, you know, nobody's going to do that. This is a wild turtle, and, you know, if it was your pet or your dog, of course, people go and spend hundreds of dollars. But nobody's going to do that for a turtle. So we're filling that niche in between there, you know, of trying to save an injured animal, you know, wildlife of Arkansas. And, of course, our main goal through the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission is to be sure they are released back into the wild. I mean, our goal is to release a healthy turtle in the wild. We want that, you know, wild animals should be wild. So we're not doing pets. We're not keeping them as pets or anything like that. Although we do have some of them for quite an extended period of time, because in the turtle world, everything happens slow.
Right.
Just like you might
imagine. Just like a turtle.
Yeah, just like a turtle. So they also heal slow. You know.
Okay. We're having a little, it's not coming on at all. So, you have a little turtle with you.
Here's an example. Here's
and
one.
tell us about this turtle.
This turtle is a full-size turtle. He should be bigger than my hand.
Like a teacup
He's
turtle.
4, age 4.
This is a 4-year-old turtle.
How do you know that?
We got him from a lady, because of the lady. She got him as a hatchling, and we know when that was, and she finally gave up and brought him to us. But this turtle has metabolic bone disease. And it kind of demonstrates the difficulty in keeping these guys as pets. Because turtles require extensive lighting. They have to have UVA, UVB, infrared, and then a natural daylight light bulb. Plus they have to hibernate. So she kept this little guy inside, didn't hibernate, and so what happened is his shell will not grow anymore.
Oh my goodness!
So he's trapped in his own body. So he can't eat enough to grow. When we got him, he was bulging out. Now you can't see this, but this is where his shell was when we got him.
So he has grown.
He has grown since then. So we're trying to get him to recover, and he's beginning to grow again. But metabolic bone disease is usually fatal. So this is kind of a miracle.
Alan's.
Your mic's dead. It died on us. Yours is
Are we cutting?
Oh, here, you hold that
There.
and talk.
Okay.
There.
So he has metabolic bone disease. It is usually fatal, but this guy's a real miracle for us because he's beginning to come out.
Oh my
and his shell's
goodness!
beginning to grow.
So he should have been probably
Almost
this
the
This
size.
size. This is what this should
And
be.
this is a classic, your box turtle? Okay.
Yeah, eastern three-toed box turtle. And we have a couple of subspecies. The only other box turtle we have around here is the ornate box turtle. But we also do snapping turtles and red-eared spiders.
Oh, really?
And all the
Bring us
turtles,
all of
yes.
them, any of them.
We do all of them.
Wow, I'm afraid to touch a snapping turtle just a little bit.
Scoop him with something. Don't push him with your hands if you
Right.
find an injured one. And, you know, we always encourage everybody, if you see one crossing the road, just let them move across the road.
Right.
You know, if you find a place where you can stop safely, and, you know, we don't want any car wrecks or
Right.
any danger
Well,
or anything
and-
like that. Don't
and
put
that
yourself in danger in any
Right.
way.
Right.
But if there's a place you can pull over and stop, just go out and take them in the direction that they've we're headed.
Okay.
Don't pick him up and take him home with you to make a pet or
Right.
take him to a safer
Right.
place. Because one of the things most people don't know about box turtles is their homebodies. They live in a certain territory. They rarely go more than a mile from where they're born.
Seriously, I didn't
Seriously.
realize that.
And most of them stay in an area of about 40 acres. So if you take him somewhere else, he's going to go back to that territory, just like a homing pigeon. He always will. If I pick up a turtle here and I drive to Springfield, Missouri and set him out, he's going to hike all the way back here to Harrison.
Oh, my.
So he has that, wow,
They
that
have that
innate-
homing instinct, and they navigate line of sight. So cross the rivers, the bridges,
Wow. It
yards,
doesn't
the
matter,
dogs,
right, it doesn't
and so they
matter.
very rarely don't make it.
So,
because-
hence why they can get injured so easily.
and the reason that they live in a small territory like that, that's their manner of survival. The reason for it is they are not real mobile. They're turtles.
Mm-hmm.
And so they know everything in that area. They know when this blackberry plant gets ripe. They know when it rains, there's a mud puddle over here. They know this is the place to hibernate. And here's an old log over here that I can always get termites. So that's their manner of survival. That's their
Okay.
method of being able to live. And without that being in their home territory, they can't hardly find food. I mean, they're going to be meagering it along, in very bad
Wow,
shape.
I had no
We care
idea.
about, I know, we care about every living animal, but what's the ecological benefit to a turtle for us? I mean,
Well, they really aren't that big of a thing with people. Basically, if you get to, I always like to mention this because everybody doesn't like these snapping turtles and the red-eared sliders,
Right.
but they're the turkey vultures of our waterways. Those guys.
Okay.
So they eat mostly carrion, and so
Okay.
like if a fish dies in the pond, they're
They
going to
take
eat it.
care of
And
it.
if you didn't have them, the Buffalo River and stuff wouldn't be near as pristine as it is. They clean up all the dead animals, the dead fish. If a dead cow falls in, they clean that up. They're the garbage disposal
Wow,
units.
I had no
I'm
idea.
learning so
Now,
much
talk about this.
today.
Box turtles themselves, as far as go, they don't really, they're not harmful or anything to us, but they just clean up insects. They're kind of good in the insect world. They're much more carnivorous than people realize. So I would say that their benefit in the ecological world is cleaning up insects. This poor guy here, we call him Stumpy. He's been run over by a car.
Oh.
So you can see his back leg back here is all swollen, and his shell on the bottom, is what you call a plastron, is broke across here.
Oh my goodness.
Now his leg is broke, and Dr. Reggie X-ray here, right up next to the pelvis. So it's going to take a very, very long time for him to heal. But he was also hit by a lawnmower.
Oh,
This is a
good
scar from a
grief.
lawnmower hit. And so he's healed up from that. I mean, this guy's had a very rough life. And then he also has some shell rot here around the edges. Now, some
Bless
people-
his heart.
Yeah. So this poor guy, he's not wanting to come out and look at us, but, he's had a rough life. And
Yeah.
turtles have a very hard life. When we get a lot of them, we got one the other day that had been hit by a lawnmower, and this part of the back of his shell was missing. But we got to looking at him, and he also had a front leg missing.
Oh,
it had
my
been cut off by a
goodness.
lawnmower as well. So a lot of them survive some very horrific injuries, but they have a very, very hard life. So they need all the mercy and all the help
Right,
we can
right.
give.
So don't just walk off and leave them if something like that happens. I mean, you can, right?
You can
I mean,
call us, and you can bring them to us, and then we'll try to see if they're okay and help them, because we have medicines that we can give them. And there's not really very many reptile vets around. I mean, they're a very different creature than all of the mammals that we're used to all of the time. They're just, they're ectothermic. Some people used to call them cold-blooded, but they're driven by a lot different world than we are.
Right.
They're trying to adjust their temperature and their humidity. And, talking about them going across the roads, we have people say, well, why is that turtle going across the road? Well, you have to realize
To find the chicken.
They live 80 to 120 years. That turtle probably lived in that territory before the
that-
road eased in there.
exactly.
So, you've gone in and
Just
built
because
a road.
that road's there, they don't
Yeah,
care.
You've built a road through their living room, Hey, I go over here to the bathroom or over to the bedroom
Right.
all the time.
Right.
Now, when you see them crossing the road this time of the year, or from just recently till April and May, it's almost always a male, and they're on their way looking for
Okay.
love. They're
Okay.
searching out where the girls
Okay.
are.
So, I'm sorry, go ahead. But
Starting about now, it's going to be all females, and they're going to be
Okay.
looking for just the right place to lay eggs.
Okay.
They need the right temperature. Just, and a lot of people have seen the nature shows. I mean, and so they've got to find a place to dig a hole with they use their back legs.
Right.
So if you see one digging in your yard with the back legs,
That's
they're going
what
to
they're
lay
doing.
eggs.
Okay.
And they're finding a place with the right temperature and humidity so that the eggs will hatch.
Okay.
Because they lay their eggs and they leave.
Okay. We are running out of time, but I want you to mention the phone, you mentioned like people can call you, but how
Yes.
do they call you?
They can call us at 870-741-9357.
Okay.
We have a Facebook site, and you can get in touch with us that way. Our daughter actually runs that because we're not very social media savvy.
Okay.
And it's just Boone County Turtle Rescue
Okay.
and Rehabilitation.
Game and fish.
And also, if you go to the Game and Fish Commission
Okay.
website, they on their tab that says Wildlife Rehabbers, we're on there, and it
Okay.
has our contact information on there.
Well,
as
I so appreciate you coming on the show and letting our viewers know about this service, you know, and that you exist, and giving us a little bit of a history about turtles and why you know why we need to be conscientious and careful, but don't be stupid. But still, that there is they're not a you don't have to write them off. You know, if something happens, you can call y'all and
That's right.
Thank you for
Get
your
some
heart
rehab
for
in there.
turtles.
Thank you.
we appreciate you very much.
We just love turtles, and anything we can do to save one, we'll do it. So.
Okay, thank you very much. Wanda Massengale is up next. She has brought a cute little terrier named North with her. She's representing the Ozark Humane Society. Stay with us.